Get started here. Watching the Gold Cup here for USA trying to beat Canada. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. So, yeah. Unfortunate ending to what was going to be a good race, but we will talk about it here in just a few minutes. Got one more minute before we go and break into the show. Wait till exactly 10:30. Kick this off. All right, here we go. The Quaker State 400, not unfortunately the one behind me, but might even be a better race. At Atlanta was rain shortened. William Byron's your leader and your winner. Let's talk about it here on Second to Catch Fence post race show. Welcome in. Unfortunately, we got to wave the red flag because that's what's going to end tonight's race. The Quaker State 400 in Atlanta, the second race of the year at said Atlanta, has come to a close. And the second race in a row has come to a close due to weather. One was delayed due to weather, being Chicago last week, and then had to end early due to sunlight and the street lamps not bright enough to light the street circuit. Tonight, a 7 o'clock race on a Sunday evening comes to a close as they are supposed to run 260 laps. They got 185 laps in, and William Byron, based upon strategy, ends up winning the race. He is their winner. He is now the fourth win in the series, the most wins in the series so far this year. I know that we got people in the chat ready to go. Mickey Byron is what he's being called, backing into a win. And, it is what it is, unfortunately for him. Michael McDowell tried to play that strategy too, but I just want to go ahead and get straight to the point when it comes to the race. Joe and I were at the spring race earlier this year in March, unseasonably cool. And I also went last year to the spring race and saw some good racing when I went the first time. We saw some good racing the second time last year as well. The good racing earlier this year in the third stage. But by God, this was the most entertaining race, I believe, this entire year. I know Chicago was really, really good, but the 1.5-mile super speedway package was perfect tonight. And that's what I've been begging for the entire time, is for these drivers to race this track from start to finish like they could. They've been waiting only for stage 3 to do this. They go single file more often than not the first almost half of this race. And tonight they let it all hang out. And by God, was it entertaining. And we didn't have a lot of wrecks. I mean, Eric Jones seems to be like he had his nose in a lot, but I wouldn't say he caused a lot of wrecks. Harrison Burton spun out by himself. Kyle Larson admitted he spun out by himself. He had a few guys tagging the wall. I remember Ty Gibbs tagged the wall a couple times. But Kevin Harvick got hit by Denny Hamlin. So just you did have some incidents out there, but nothing that caused a big one. I mean, they did a lot of really good driving to avoid, really, really big wrecks in this pack racing. But I cannot understate this enough. Like this is what the original thought process, the original innovation when they remade this speedway, this is what they were going for. And tonight it worked. I mean, it worked to perfection. You had different strategies. Some guys were taking tires, some guys were only taking fuel. We had, the incidences on pit road, which oddly enough, most of them were like guys over the wall too soon, or equipment interference, things of that nature. I think we only had one speeding after changing pit road speed from 90 mile an hour on the apron to then 45 when we got to the wall. But yeah, I can't say enough. That was awesome. And as a NASCAR fan, that's what you want. And I'm going to make a video here soon. I think we need to really give NASCAR the benefit of the doubt moving forward when it comes to what they've done with racing. I mean, we're talking back-to-back, totally different types of innovative moves from NASCAR in the last 5 years. Getting rid of the oldest worn surface in NASCAR to then completely change it, bank it like Daytona, make it 1.5 miles, and try to run it like a super speedway. It's worked. Go to Chicago, race on the street. It's worked. The only thing that really didn't work so far this year was going back to North Wilkesboro. And even that, I applauded that they even tried. So I'm just, I can't, I'm to the point now when it comes from what NASCAR's doing by getting these cars to the track, I'm all for. I think we should quit hesitating or being pessimistic, really. When a lot of people, probably myself through most of this, the Coliseum, I'm like, I don't think it'll work. It works. Whenever they said that they're going to change Atlanta, I didn't know what to expect out of that. And I mean, changing a 1.5 mile track, cookie cutter, that didn't bother me too much. I was willing to see what it was like, as long as they didn't make all the other tracks that way. Well, I'll tell you what, if we got all the other tracks, if Kentucky had to come back and race like this, I don't care. I mean, I don't care. That's fine. That was awesome. I don't want it to be more than, 1 or 2, but that was fine. That was awesome. So congratulations to NASCAR. They've really done a good job. Get some of the chats. Mikey McDowell, he spun out Truex, and when he did, I lost my mind. I understand that. That was one of the very few, and that's why Mike McDowell had stuff on some damage on the front of his car. And then Truex, unfortunately, did get spun out on pit road as he was trying to leave. It was a disappointing finish. I think all of us NASCAR fans feel that way. But at the end of the day, I agree with you, Truex fan. One of the best races of the year. And, I just keep leading towards that. One of the best races of the year. And it's almost like, at one point, do you say like it was one of the best races because they thought rain was coming and that's why they moved more than they have? I don't know. I mean, they mentioned rain early in the race, but they didn't make it sound like they for sure knew they weren't going to run out the rest of this race. I think we started hearing about it late toward the end of stage 1, if not at the end of stage 1. So I'm sure people's mentalities did change, but even the NASCAR broadcast on NBC, which was solid again today, had the one unfortunate, while we're waiting for rain to happen, they did a full-fledged commercial. I don't think it was supposed to be a full screen commercial, but it was nonetheless. Yeah, I don't know what more you can say about the fact that was fun. And unfortunately, we got 80 laps shorter than what we could have gotten. So let's go ahead and take a peek in here as I share my screen for you guys to see the finishing, because it was I kind of forgot actually who the top 10. But if you can see this here, William Byron gets his 4th win, leads all of NASCAR now. Daniel Suarez gets 2nd place. He was really battling hard, especially with the Quaker State car. AJ Allmendinger, now that's funny, because AJ Allmendinger, you would expect the Chicago Street Course would be his course, right? No, he gets 3rd place at Atlanta. Michael McDowell on fumes, begging for a caution, plays the right strategy. Kyle Busch stays out and ends up getting a top 5 again. And this is Kyle's my guy. I just want to go on this little quick tangent. Randall Burnett has been amazing manufacturing great opportunities for Kyle Busch. Whenever he didn't really have the speed or have the right strategy or would get caught up in different things, Randall Burnett has put them in an amazing position to get finishes. Another top 5. Brad Keselowski, we talked about him on the weekly show. Wasn't there at the beginning of this race. I was like, oh wow, this is bad. He doesn't look that good. Chris Buescher's running better. And then they go underneath the hood of the car, make some adjustments, and it's all he needed. Shot out of the cannon. JJ Yeley. Top 10 for JJ Yeley. And Joe's not on the show to celebrate a top 10 for JJ Yeley. Congratulations to him. And for Rick Ware. Justin Haley, back-to-back top 10s. Good for him. Ryan Blaney was competing up front most of this race. Ends up with a top 10 finish. Probably disappointing to him considering how fast the Fords were. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4 Fords in the top 10. No Toyotas in the top 10. The Fords were dominant early and most way throughout the race, but strategy changed it. Ricky Stenhouse finds his way into the top 10. Eric Jones had the most coverage tonight because it seems like every time there was a wreck, he was involved. Chase Elliott, again, not really competing very much. Denny Hamlin seemed like every time they showed him, he was avoiding a wreck. Joe Logano was up there early. Eric Almirola on the pole finishes back here. But really some disappointing finishes back here. Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace get into it, and they don't have any good finishes to show for the end. Neither does Ryan Preece. Kevin Harvick, again, spins out. Towards the end, Corey LaJoie goes, in my opinion, goes down the track and hits Eric Jones, and that's why he spun out. Noah Gragson's horrendous season continues. Ty Gibbs was pushed into the wall twice. Ross Chastain caught in an early wreck. And Kyle Larson said himself, he just ended up wrecking. So definitely going to shake up the points moving forward. And it'll be interesting because if A.J. Allmendinger or Daniel Suarez would have won that race, we would have had complete chaos. I mean, complete chaos in the standings. Like, I think it said that Ty Gibbs would have went like 33 points down when he was to the good. And with William Byron winning, that really helped Ty Gibbs' poor finish. And, it really solidifies Byron now having a chance to win the regular season whenever he was kind of fading. So a really good strategy by him and his crew chief and his team. Zach says, I'll shake up your points. Obviously, he's very upset. Probably had bad meatloaf for dinner, so he's just going to come in and troll. Truex fan says, I hope that Brad can make the playoffs. Well, on the weekly show, which you were there, Truex fan, he was 12th or 13th. Him and Chris Buescher were right next to each other, and both of them, again, had another good race. We did the who do you think is going to win and get into the playoffs? I chose Chris Buescher, and Joe chose Brad. And for a second there, I thought Brad was going to get in. I also thought that Chris didn't look like he was wanting to race his teammate. Zach, I'm sorry that your driver ran out of talent and ended up wrecking just due to a fault of his own. So, that's tough. And took out Bubba Wallace. So that's tough. Also, the United States is now trailing Canada in the Gold Cup. So that's cool. But I want to go ahead and yeah. His teammate had to back into the win tonight. Unfortunately, he couldn't. I think a lot of people on social media are going to say that this right here, I think they called the race too fast. Here's my thought. And they said this multiple times, that the reason why they called this race because they knew it was going to rain, yada, yada, yada. They could have ran 3 or 4 laps. Now, here's the difference that you have. Okay? Say they run 3 or 4 laps. That would have changed the outcome knowing that it was going to rain. Even worse, say they ran 3 or 4 laps and then the top 15 people wreck. Okay? I'm a Kyle Busch fan. Kyle Busch worked his ass off to get into the top 5. He was making moves. I definitely think he had a chance to win this race if there would have been another 20 laps. That being said, I'll take a top 5 versus watching him completely wipe out due to rain. And NASCAR not taking the conservative stance of letting these drivers race and then the top 15 drivers wreck. And then everything that they did for, that 2 hours goes to complete hell. I understand where you get that. And, it just happened to be William Byron's out front. I don't care if BJ McLeod is out front. They're probably going to let that ride through and do exactly what they did. I again, call me the conspiracy theory killer. I know we have passionate NASCAR fans, but I just feel like NASCAR was put in a spot where there was nothing more they can do. Oh my God, the USA just tied it up. It's crazy. Pandemonium over here. That's why I do a live show. I can't get enough sports. I'm sorry. But no, I think NASCAR did the right thing by letting them go out, seeing if it was going to rain. If it wasn't going to rain, then they could have, definitely had that going. I mean, but a guy like Michael McDowell, he's put in a bad spot. So I think if your guy would have been up front and they would have ran that and then it rained, knowing for a fact that it was going to rain. I mean, the radar showed it wasn't a sprinkle, it wasn't a pop-up shower. It was legit a hurricane cloud type right over top of the speedway coming in. I think they did the best that they could. And it's just unfortunate. This show would do so much better if William Byron doesn't win. I promise you that. William Byron does nothing for the ratings of this show. Even if Daniel Suarez would have won, we probably get a lot of people talking about it. I mean, last week we got a guy that nobody even heard of before from Australia come in and win. And, we get good conversation. We get good people talking about it. NASCAR talks about it. But the fact that William Byron won kills this sport. And we've said it. I mean, I forget what race it was. The caption, the thumbnail for the show was William Byron wins and nobody cares. He does nothing to move the needle of the sport. He's had a tremendous year. He's been a really, really good driver. But at the end of the day, he's like painting your entire house white. People walk in and go, oh, cool. I mean, he's vanilla ice cream with nothing in it. Just straight vanilla ice cream. And for you people that like just plain vanilla ice cream, when God and technology and mankind have spent thousands of years providing you with other ice creams and you choose plain vanilla, I'm assuming you're a serial killer. That's it. That's all I can say. That is William Byron, the serial killer of NASCARs, the vanilla of ice creams. And unfortunately, he gets his way into victory lane or the garage or whatever you want to call it, and it sucks. So let's see. We got a couple chats here. The sound files from other countries was kind of cool. That was cool. I don't know how to. Oh my God! About threw my mic or my mouse. I don't know how to speak Hungarian, Zach, but that was cool. I think they didn't run 3 laps because of the 2020. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And Austin Dillon ended up winning that race. And then Trix fan says, Payne Byron, I do not like. That's kind of like in Payne Byron, I do not. That's like some Yoda organization. Payne Byron, I do not like. No one likes WB. I agree. But you got to look at it this way, too. I mean, William Byron and his team put him in the right spot to win all the time. I mean, there's a reason why he has 4 wins, and some of his wins have been dominating wins. It's not like he's been, he just keeps doing stuff like this. At the end of the day, he keeps putting himself in a position to win, and that's what he did tonight. I was honestly expecting them to wreck towards the end. I didn't expect Zach's guy Alex Bowman to just wreck by himself. I was expecting Daniel Suarez to go up there. I mean, this might be the best opportunity Daniel Suarez has to win a race. We talked about, Joe said AJ Allmendinger was going to get into the playoffs because of Watkins Glen and because of the Indy road course race. This was the best chance for Allmendinger all year to get a win, being in the top 3. it just seemed like they couldn't get close enough. And the only one really taking any type of different line, and it was shown earlier by Martin Truex. So Kyle Busch learned by Martin Truex, was running that high line. And, he probably would have wrecked soon enough because people were going to, block him and he would have hit a wall. So, yeah, it William Byron is not the best person to have you win a race for this sport. And he doesn't develop any type of social media following. He does nothing when it comes to sound bites. So it is what it is. But, it's another good opportunity for him. I think the thing that surprises me is how bad the Toyotas really were most of the night. Christopher Bell was nowhere to be found. Martin Truex was solid. Denny Hamlin was nowhere to be found. Tyler Reddick was decent, but not great. And, Ty Gibbs, I think he was doing a good job in the top 10. He just kept getting hit by other people, which is no fault to his own. But, yeah, I think that's, something that's interesting as well. I want to see where we go next week. I actually forgot. I know I'm supposed to remember all these things, but I can't. Yada yada yada. Where am I at? Where's my schedule? Oh, we're in New Hampshire next week, so that's one of my favorite races. Typically have some good racing there. I'll just go ahead and say it. Eric Almirola, for whatever reason, runs really good there, but that is Christopher Bell's track. Another one. So if you want to go ahead and place very, very, very early bets, you could do a long shot with Eric Almirola and Christopher Bell. Seems like Toyota runs really good there. But yeah, again, it was a really good race. I love to talk about how the ending went and spend another, 10 to 15 minutes with you guys. But outside of that, we just had a lot of battles for the lead, back and forth, back and forth. Some guys coming up early in, some of them leaving, some being caught in traffic. And, it just seemed like everybody who was up front got in the back at one point. People in the back moved their way up front. People in the middle were filing in between. So I don't know. I mean, last week got an 80-something% for the Jeff Gluck poll. And another thing that I want to know, get a drink real quick. This would be a good litmus test, is how many people new to NASCAR came from the Chicago race, tuned in at 7:00 on a Sunday night and watched this. Because I'm telling you this, if you tuned into the Chicago race and never seen NASCAR, and then you tuned into this, I don't know how you're not now a fan tuning in, if not routinely, semi-routinely whenever NASCAR is on television. I mean, the Chicago Street Race, one of a kind, never seen before in NASCAR, A+. Tonight, when it comes to actual racing versus being like this, I don't want to call it a gimmick, but it was a one-off. It was something we never seen before. Now you get to see the meat and potatoes type of racing that is the NASCAR series. How do you not watch? I would love to know that. And if you're new to the channel, you just decide you want to look up Quaker State 400 because you want to see a post-race show, let me know if this is the first time you've watched NASCAR in the last 3 to 4 weeks and tell me what your thoughts are. To me, I think it couldn't have been more enjoyable. I talked to somebody that it doesn't routinely watch NASCAR, and they were talking about how, the USA plays tonight. They were talking about how, Victor Wembanyama is playing his second game in the NBA, and he said, I'm glued to the NASCAR screen because of what he saw last week. That's what NASCAR needs. And I think that's what the success of the Chicago Streetway race was, is the fact that people that typically don't watch the sport go, damn, that was pretty fun. I think I'll at least give 2 to 3 more hours on my Sunday, even if it's not the entire time like I'm going to do, Zach's going to do, Truex fans going to do, but at least somebody was like, I'm going to give it another opportunity. And if tonight was the opportunity that they got, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, what an awesome showing for NASCAR to be able to have that type of back-to-back weekends, because I mean, obviously for the channel, it helps if NASCAR grows, but for the love of the sport and just be able to talk to you guys, I want 50,000 chats on a post-race show. I want to get to the point that I can't hardly read the chats in a post-race show, because I want this to be a community again that grows together, and we all come waiting for the race to be done, watch the amazingness that it was, and then at the end of the day, go, let's all talk about it. Let's all have a great time. And unfortunately, Mother Nature robbed us of that. I feel like we'd probably have quite a bit more people on here. And we've had good communication and good showing so far. But I just feel like if we would have had a great way to have an ending to the Atlanta race, more people than not, even though it was late on a Sunday, go, man, I can't go to bed after watching what I just watched. I got to go on there and see what other people are saying about it, see if they enjoyed it as much as I did, or see if people's takes are the same thing as mine, or maybe I'll learn a new perspective about this sport that I just gained, and just now tuning into. So, A+ by NASCAR. I'll have a short video coming up soon why we need to quit giving NASCAR hell for their ideas. They've been working. And yeah, should be a great week. And we'll have the midweek show, and we're moving on to New Hampshire with the greatest trophy in all of sports, a ginormous live lobster. So great race. We'll have the weekly show coming up. Look for my short show. Make sure that you like, subscribe if you're not already doing so on the channel. Win yourself a new diecast car. And Zach, it's not everybody's fault Alex Bowman raced, bro. Quit pissing in your own cereal, man. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. You're not going to fight me. You're angry right now. Drink some chamomile. Go hashtag non-sponsor. Go get some summer shandy. I mean, this is the best lemonade. And you're already up there. You're pretty much in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, I think. I don't know, somewhere up north. You're already there. Chill. But no, great showing, great race. We'll be back for the rest of the week. And yeah. Oh, Lord Stanley's Cup. No. The best trophy is a live lobster. Your favorite trophy is not even named after an American. Sorry. We don't call people lords right here. The only lord we call here in the States is this one. So gonna have to pass on that. Give me the lobster over Lord Stanley's Cup. And we probably just lost a subscriber. So Zach, yep, I knew it. Sorry, Zach. Yeah. But great race. Let me know what you guys think as well. This will be up for a while, so if you want to continue the chat, feel free to do so. Again, William Byron's your winner. He now leads NASCAR with 4 victories. My name is Ryan Peters. This has been Stuck in the Catchments.